Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Tom Met Show. Thank you so much for joining us today. Radio broadcast all over the state of Michigan, all over the Midwest on our syndication on Michigan Talk Network. Second segment is sponsored by Craig Stiles, greatest guy ever. I mean, I have so many really good men friends that are just the best guys ever. That's what makes me having brothers from other mothers all over the place, even young brothers like my guest today, Justin Grinnell. But Craig Stiles has been sponsoring us for a long time. And he has all of our retirement zone savings money, as I say, every episode. With the right financial advisor, life can be brilliant because Craig Stiles is the man, and he created Decideri Analytics, which is his proprietary algorithm where we are making light of weighted decisions. That's his tagline for that algorithm. That algorithm, and a recent episode I just had with Craig, and we talked about last year's production with our money. We're very open and honest about all this stuff because I want to share all this with everyone out there. That our return for last year was pretty decent, and we don't have to go in there. We're not trying to brag or anything, but Craig's the guy. Call Craig 1-800-528-1355. You can call local 517-483-4893. You can do his email is craig.stiles@ampf.com. His offices are located at 2651 Coolidge Road, Suite 103, East Lansing, Michigan 48823. You can always go on to our website, bottom of the website, where we have friends and sponsors. Click right on through, away you go. Stations that have carried us, still carry us. There's stations that are in the Michigan Talk Network that I don't even know are carrying us. But here's some that do, have, will, whatever. WGHN 92.1 FM in Grand Haven was number one, first ever on broadcast radio, thanks to Will Tiemann and Wendy Hart. Love you guys so much. Thank you for carrying us all those years and giving me the confidence to continue to do this thing. WGIM 1240 AM in Lansing is the flagship of the Michigan Talk Network. Thanks to Steve and Ivy Gruber, two really sharp people. We've got WJRW 1340 in Grand Rapids, carried us for a long time. WKLQ 1490 Muskegon Whitehall, WYPV FM 94.5 in Mackinac City. And then we have the flagship of Michigan State University, WKAR AM 870 and simulcast at 102.3 FM. They are the bomb, and they carry us on Sundays at 5 on broadcast radio. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Today, men, no shame in your game with Gameday Men's Health. My guest today is my friend, very good friend, Justin Grinnell. Gameday Men's Health is something that Justin, Steve, his dad, and Katie's wife they're jumping into a new area to help people. And this is the whole thing. Justin, to get going on the Gameday, we started during break, we were talking about a little bit of the story of how you guys started this thing. And that's where we want to go. So let's start at the beginning. When you guys started thinking about this, because you relocated, set the timeline for State of Fitness, because that is your facility. It's been around for 15 years. When you moved to your new facility, State of Fitness in Lansing, sweet place. When was that? 3 years ago?
It was November 2022.
Okay. So November 2022, you had big shift changes going on. When did you and Katie decide that you were going to start to explore? Because I know you do some speaking, you do a lot of outreach. You have lots of irons in the fire. But this is this is a whole nother fire. This is not an iron in the fire. This is a whole nother fire. And so risky, bro, to start from the beginning. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've been in the gym business, I've been a trainer forever, and, we knew we weren't going to make another brick and mortar, somewhere of State of Fitness. We have our corporate stuff at Jackson. We have this here. And we're kind of at the point in our career where we're going to obviously have our gyms, but really try to build it for our team. That's really in the personal training and fitness industry. Margins aren't high. Personal trainers aren't taken care of as well as they should be. They're not valued as well as they should be. So we want to make sure we keep that. Also thinking about just future. Okay, are we ever going to go back to work? I know I'm not. I'll be a gym guy, most likely forever. But my wife as well. Did she want to go back into it? Well, we feel like, okay, we've ran a great business. We feel comfortable running businesses. We will look at other businesses and say, we could do this, we could do that. And not that ours can't improve, it always can improve. But we looked at, okay, what's our next opportunity? Well, I've gotten several fitness franchises that come and say, hey, you should open up one, whether they saw me speak on a circuit at Perform Better or at a workshop or wherever. And we looked into some, and a couple of them looked pretty good, but we said, you know what, we've got to peek into the behind the scenes of different franchises, how that goes, the operations, everything that goes into a franchise. And so we said, okay, we don't want to do that, but let's look at some other stuff. So we hired a recruiter for franchises. My dad and I vetted a bunch of different ones. We learned a
How
lot,
long did that,
which ones don't.
Jason, Justin, how long did that take? The vetting with you
Oh,
and your
About 5.5 months. We started looking at a bunch of things, and we used a good firm, and we just kept coming up with this game day. The everything from the pro forma to what they did to how other franchisees that were opening up facilities, and also things we wanted to do, how we wanted to intertwine this. And so as far as fitness is concerned, so it all just matched up, and so we I kind of dragged my wife and father into it. My dad, somehow he totally trusts me with everything, and so he said I'm in, and so away we went. But we chose Traverse City for a variety of reasons, not Lansing.
why?
Well, Traverse City is just.
Excuse me, let me jump in there real quick because I've looked at the map. I looked at the state map in the franchise locations, and I think I know why. But explain to your fans and all of your customers here in Mid Michigan why you would decide to do that, and is it potentially you're going to have one here in Lansing as well once you figure this out?
Well, funny enough, after we got ours, the Lansing territory was bought. But we looked at, well, first, my dad's up in Traverse City with my mother about half the time. He does a lot of business up there. They have a condo on the East Bay. And we in Traverse City, from a growth standpoint, by going through all the franchises that we looked at, we were going to bring some to Michigan. Quite honestly, the tough part is Lansing really wasn't a place that a lot of places wanted to come. From a franchise standpoint, from the demographics, from the money, that side of thing. And Traverse City was above them. And we kind of want to do something outside of Lansing, kind of keep our fitness community here. Not that we won't ever do anything in Lansing, because there's also a women's branch to Game Day, which we potentially will open, and it's called Her Way. So think of the same thing we offer at Game Day, but it's going to be exclusively for women, which I think is desperately needed.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. So here's the setup, everybody. The the growth, and I'm going to kind of carry this through. Justin Grinnell's our guest today, everybody. Game Day Men's Health, calling this one "Men No Shame in Your Game" with Game Day Men's Health. Long title. This is why. Okay, so out there is a confluence of people who are selling HGH or selling the idea of HGH, human growth hormone, or testosterone replacement, and or all kinds of different things, all kinds of different chemicals, all kinds of different supplements, all kinds of different things. And I've been very, obviously I've been very active in this field, but not into the science side of things so much. But basically, it's male menopause, or as the internet will say, age-related low testosterone. The term that I found, and Justin, he said that is correct, hypogonadism, but we'll use the age-related low testosterone as the jumping off point why there is no shame in your game. And I'll let Justin go through all of the different symptoms that you may be having and why you might want to consider this, because this is a growing field. And is it legit? Is it for real? Can it help you? Is it something that is sustainable? These are the reasons we want to have Justin in here to talk about these things, and we're going to. Again, Justin Grinnell's here. We're talking men, no shame in your game with Game Day Men's Health. This is the Tom Matt Show. The third segment of the Tom Matt Show is sponsored by Brock Fletcher, selling team of Keller Williams Realty, where trust is his middle name. And again, full disclosure, we have used the selling team of Keller Williams. Brock is a very, very good friend, just like Craig is, just like my guest today. I want to be friends with all of our guests because we want to make sure that our integrity is solid when we're pitching and selling you and trying to help you understand all of these things. These people are for real, just like today's topic with No Shame in Your Game with Game Day Men's Health and Justin Grinnell. And we'll get right back into that in a second. But remember, the selling team of Keller Williams Realty and Brock Fletcher, he gave me a number for Big House Holt years ago when I didn't even know who he was. And he gave me the lowdown. I told Sandy, he told me, he said, you're going to have to really start thinking about this downsizing thing. And I'm like, we're never downsizing. We love this house. We built this house from dirt. And guess what? Just like Dave Ramsey says, you might have two or three, forever homes. Well, we did. We had at least one for sure. That's where kwsellingteam.com came in with Brock Fletcher. Couple of numbers coming at you. 517-853-6408. That's the office number. Or the number to Brock's pocket, 517-303-3262. I'm going to give that one to you again. This is his preferred way of connecting with him. Text him, leave him a voicemail, tell him you heard it on Tommy's show, and you're going to get the treatment, okay? Everybody gets the treatment anyways, but you're going to get even better treatment. 517-303-3262, or you can go online directly to them, to kwsellingteam.com. Sell your home without hassles. Buy your home without hassles. Get a hold of Mike Deadman. He's the king. He's the one who helped us buy. He was our buyer's agent for Little House Lansing, where we're recording this episode today with my buddy Justin Grinnell. It's all good. Once again, call 517-303-3262. Go to kwsellingteam.com. Tell Brock you want to talk to him about any problem you got, or just go listen to any of the podcasts we have here. We got like 20 of them. They're all different topics. Just like Justin Grinnell's been on this show for his 7th visit. All different topics, all different things we talk about. Today is definitely out of the stratosphere of different for Justin Grinnell in today's episode. We're not talking about specifically fitness, which we usually do all the time because of State of Fitness, and Justin's such an expert in the fitness industry. Calling this one Men No Shame in Your Game with Gameday Men's Health, because Justin and his family have opened up a franchise opportunity in Traverse City with Gameday Men's Health. All right, so we just got the story on the beginning. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about why this is a place to go for men, because I just mentioned those terms, that hypogonadism, age-related low testosterone, male menopause. These things are real, everybody. This is a real deal. And so I have my testosterone checked. Here's something I want to tell you, Justin, just before we start into you just talking about everything. Last year, I had to specifically request on my physical to get my testosterone checked. I wanted it checked. On the initial physical, it was not. I had to go back and have it done. This year, I made sure when I had my physical, I said, by the way, check that box, because they don't always check the box. And it's like, no offense to my doc, he never even mentioned it. I mean, I'm looking at it I've done my own research, and I have a good number, but I want to know that number. This is what you guys are doing. And now you can do many, many more things, increase libido, increase muscle mass. I'm going to let you talk about it. Go ahead, Justin. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you said, no disrespect to a doctor or anything. The system we know is not, for them, in a sense where you go to your primary care, they're not going to have the bandwidth. They're not going to have enough time to spend with you. Not their fault. They're trying to do the best they can. And now that we know what we know by working with laboratories, working with, blood laboratories as well, or pharmacies, that, it costs money, and, it's going to cost money. Not everybody wants to spend that money. So Evan Miller, started say, how can I bring something to the table exclusively for males? Because A, they don't like to go to the doctor. B, they don't feel listened to. All right. And C, we got to make it convenient and easy for them, because they're not going to, go out of the way to go to the doctor all the time. Well, we have an in-house lab. So you come in, the first time the consult's free. You'll get to spend 45 minutes with our clinical director. She's a physician assistant, and we picked one that's also a registered dietitian. We wanted to have that layer where, okay, whatever the case may be with you, we're going to have that nutrition layer, as well, and that lifestyle layer. And she's awesome.
What is your PA's name, Justin?
Her name's Marjorie Jolly.
Marjorie Jolly. Way to go, Marjorie. Way to get with Justin. And I'm glad to see you have that dual representation with the physician's assistant and the dietitian. Great. Excellent.
Yeah, she wanted to get, out of, she was getting, kind of blocked of, okay, I know I can help this person in a lifestyle sense, not just from a medical sense. So when she saw our job post, she's like, wow, this would be really cool. And so by having that, we could get someone in our in-house lab. We take their blood draw right away. We'll check their PSA, their hemoglobin, their hematocrit, their testosterone, free testosterone, etc. We've got about 6 different things we could test in-house. So then we can see, and in fact, Tom, we are going to be the largest, as a franchise, the largest PSA testing company in the country. And if we get someone with a PSA of, let's just say 10 or something pretty high, we're going to refer them to a urologist. That's not our game, but we really check the blood work to make sure, is there any red flags? Do we need to send someone, more labs out? Do we need to refer them to another physician? Because we're not going to treat somebody or prescribe something without all the data. And when something's prescribed, it's got to be done correctly. So we kind of handle all the dosing. The pharmacy is going to be, very clean and legit. Because you could go, let's just say for Hims. For Hims, great company. You can go there, or you can't go there. You get the blood test, you send it in. Here's where we bridge the gap. We have a one-on-one consult, with the either we have an MD as well and a PA that's going to talk you through everything, answer other higher level questions, not just, hey, we're going to get your testosterone up. What's going on in sleep, nutrition, lifestyle? Are there other things we can do to help you? Because the fact of reality is 40%, it goes 40, 50, 60, 70. 40%, and it goes up by 10% each decade, of men suffering from erectile dysfunction or low testosterone. Now, there's a myriad of reasons why, but I'll give you one example. Military, whether or concussions. Those folks tend to have lower testosterone because something with pituitary gland, maybe PTSD, maybe head trauma. We could do all we can for nutrition, sleep, exercise, but sometimes it's not enough. And I also saw this from the weight loss sector, Tom. I've been in this forever. And as much as you and I and any other trainer want to say, work harder, eat better, etc., we're always going to push for that. But the thing is, it's not easy for people. Not everybody's like you and me, where you are non-negotiable every day. I'm going to get my workout in. Like, this is not a negotiable. You shouldn't expect everybody to have that. So, like, we have semaglutide and trizepatide. Now, there's a right way and wrong way, right? We talked about this on the last show. I'm like, well, if you're really overweight, it may be something you really need to do. Maybe not. We don't know yet. Evidence has come out. It's helping a lot. Now, if you are not counseled by somebody, you just get it on a website, or you're just getting an injection at some type of med spa, you're not having the support of a physician / dietitian. Here's how you need to be eating. Here's how you need to be doing XYZ, water, etc., or else this can happen. Now, it's individual people get different symptoms, but we've got to have people, if we're going to do these medications, we've got to have the other layers, or it's not going to work optimally.
No, that's absolutely correct. I mean, because as I'm listening to you making notes on all of this, and we're going to come up on break here in a second, so I'm just going to give you a heads up. So I'm going to wrap this segment here. My guest today, everybody, is Justin Grinnell. We're talking, the title of today's episode, Men, There's No Shame in Your Game with Gameday Men's Health. Let me tell you, there are a lot of men out there, anywhere 30-40% of men out there that are having low testosterone. Low testosterone, which we will talk to Justin about when we come back, can affect many, many different things in your body, and it can affect lots of things. And so we want to talk about it. And you also have the peptides, and you have the hormone replacement, and you have all of the different components that go into these things to help men feel better, as you said in your bullet, at any age. And we're going to talk about how we do these things with Gameday Men's Health when we come back with Justin Grinnell. Men, no shame in your game with Gameday Men's Health. You're listening to The Tom Matt Show. Anything to make your health better is worth it.
Yes.
Tell people it's worth it. The better, it's cheaper to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Tom Matt Show. Thank you so much for joining us. Justin Grinnell's our guest today, Gameday Men's Health. He's got a franchise up in Traverse City, Michigan, along with his gym in Lansing, State of Fitness. But we're calling this one, Man, No Shame in Your Game with Gameday Men's Health. I have done many shows with women on, I had the woman who did the Blackout Menopause movie, or whatever the heck it was called. And we talked extensively about the female side of menopause. Well, guess what, guys? We can go through it too. There's going to be changes. Everybody changes. You can have age-related low testosterone, and you may think you're fine because it's been such a gradual change that you don't realize but it's one of those things, everybody. Justin, how would you like people to get a hold of you in the clinic or Katie to set up an appointment? What's the best way to get to game day and over to State of Fitness?
Yeah, so you could easily Google, Game Day Men's Health Traverse City because they have a micro site. So there's going to be, a big site obviously for everybody, but then each individual franchise has a micro site. But the best thing to do is either call or text. You can, text 231-210-2700. We have a software
Say
system
that again,
and
please.
obviously, yeah, 231-210-2700.
Thank you.
So that'd be the quickest way, because we're always answering the messages. We have a portal that everything comes to. But Game Day Men's Health Traverse City, you'll get to see the website. Anybody in Traverse City that's listening, you guys know where Copper Ridge is. That's over there, right next to the surgery center. It's a great location that we have. So if you're in that area or up in the northern area, we're right there.
Traverse City is a beautiful, beautiful growing community. It's fabulous. So 231-210-2700 is the number you want to call for Game Day Men's Health in Traverse City. Or if you're in other parts of the country listening to the podcast, we'll try to get Evan Miller perhaps to come on and talk about this thing.
Sure.
That would be great. I'd love to hear and pick his brain about why, his story behind creating this whole thing. Justin, let's run through the list of things that you sent over to me because all men need to be aware of these. I'm just going to let you talk about them and start right at the top with hormone replacement because when we hear hormone replacement, we think women, we think female. That's the way we've been conditioned with all of this. That's not true though, and that's where I want you, if you would please start on what you guys are offering up in Traverse City and how we can help men.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just kind of comment on the women is, I'm a firm believer that, the studies in the 80s and 70s, on, menopause, hormone replacement and cancer, were just absolutely terrible. And we had a host of women suffer through menopause where they shouldn't have. In fact, Tom, I work with one of my clients with her blood cancer research advocacy group called MPN, and I've been able to travel the country with her and having dinners and talking right with these researchers and these professors and doctors about all of this. And the short story of it is, yes, those studies were terrible. We let people suffer through it. The estrogen does not increase the cause of breast cancer in certain respects. I mean, obviously there's some special considerations. It's more about the administration of it. So guys too, we used to think, okay, heart disease and prostate cancer. Well, we now know that obviously with proper doses, you could actually reduce prostate cancer and mitigate heart disease to some factor. Obviously, there's some personal things that go into that. But in fact, the symptoms from low T, we want to get rid of those, and taking the testosterone far outweighs any chance of any prostate enlargement, heart issues. In fact, it can reduce those. So that was the big things. And of course, through the Reagan years and the steroid era, steroids just got beat up by, the whole public, just like a lot of things do until you get educated. And again, you're under the care of a physician, proper dosing. Let me give you an example, Tom. If you're an Olympic or Olympia level bodybuilder, they're probably doing about a gram or more of testosterone a week. That's 1,000 milligrams. Okay. That's ridiculous. A male is probably going to have anywhere between 100 at the high end of 200 milligrams a week, okay? Because we're trying to keep them at high normal. High normal, we're going to be between about 650 and 1,000. Optimal, we're going to be in the 8s and 9s. If we're in the 8s and 9s, we're doing pretty good. But we saw someone at the clinic the other day, I mean, they were 150, and they're only 45 years old. Now, then that also, like Chris has always taught us, well, let's go digging. Let's go search deeper on what's really going on. So we don't only, replace the testosterone. We're going to do some other things, to help figure out why are we so low. So it's just miseducation. But by having low testosterone, it causes a myriad of other issues. So making sure, and sometimes testosterone replacement therapy isn't the right thing either, Tom. So there's things called clomiphene on the proper dosing can also help. There's other things that we'll do. Maybe it's weight loss. We'll get somebody maybe has a good testosterone level, but maybe they're feeling junky, like lethargy, brain fog. They're not able to lose body fat, etc. We'll use other therapies, that can help jumpstart them, or we'll just do simple, nutrition consulting. So it's like, hey, let's just clean some things up here, see how that goes. This is a process. Really try to tell our patients, hey, this isn't just going to be, all right, we get you this medication, boom, you're done. No, we need a good year to really figure all this stuff out. It's a membership-based model, and we try to be very competitive with prices, so that we can have people for a long time so we really can get down to what we need to do for them.
Well, I'm really glad Justin Grinnell is our guest today, everybody. We're calling this one Men No Shame in Your Game with Gameday Men's Health because we're specifically talking about male menopause, age-related low testosterone, or hypogonadism. I'm getting pretty good at saying that word. There are other areas that we need to discuss this, but what I'd like you saying, Justin, is it's not a quick fix. It's not, and nothing. This is the thing, everybody, with the fitness industry, dieting, nutritional consulting. It's very, very, very incremental. I mean, it's very incremental. And so, and Justin's correct. Last show he was on, we were talking about these weight loss drugs somewhat. We talked about it a little bit. And if it helps, if it helps you get going, we had that conversation. You can go back and listen to that one if you want to. Fine, great, okay, good. This is different. This is working with a patient, a man who is getting tested across the board, getting the whole panel done, doing those 6 different tests. Now let's talk about some of the other surfaces, because like you started to allude to, it might not be just a testosterone, it might not be an HGH thing. You might want to go into the peptides. Now, I'm learning more about peptides. I want to hear your take on peptides. I don't know that much about them, but I've heard good things about them. Can you explain to people what they are?
Yeah, so I mean, in short, peptides are just chain links of amino acids, right? So they're not necessarily going to be like a steroid hormone, because you've got human growth hormone, and you have something that we use is called samorelin. Okay, samorelin is going to be a peptide that's going to help increase, growth hormone. There's other peptides like BPC157. That's going to be your anti-inflammatory one. I hope that the NFL, the UFC, places like that can not ban that, because all it does is it helps you recover. I had actually a doctor client that took it. She tore her Achilles. She's very highly active. Loved to do different competitions like CrossFit, and they couldn't believe how fast she recovered. Now, with peptides in general, Tom, there still needs to be more data. There still needs to be some things with all the peptides. I'm saying the ones we use have pretty well vetted, but I mean, there's hundreds of peptides out there for anything that you can think of. But the reduction in side effects with them is pretty cool, because your body's going to recognize them a little bit better because of the chain links of amino acids. Now, again, you could go online and get any of these drugs, right? Where they're coming from, you don't know. It's got to be a good compound pharmacy. But here's the key, with whether it's the peptides, or semaglutide, or the TRT, the big component is you've got to have someone helping you through it, because you need to get your blood work done regularly. We're going to check your blood work every 1 to 3 months, so we make sure everything else is going right. Peptides, like you, Tom, it's probably a little overwhelming. There's so many things with the peptides. I know there's this much to know. I probably know about this much right now because there's so much going on. The ones we have, I know a lot about. But the peptides, that's going to probably be, in my opinion, kind of a little bit of wave of the future. And we already know this because Big Pharma is trying to, shut down some of these things because they want to gobble up these peptides so they can sell them. So it's kind of some weird stuff, going on in that part of the industry for sure.
Well, the weird thing with supplements, we're listening to Justin Grinnell. Justin, I'm going to carry this through. We're going to come up on break here. Calling this one Men No Shame in Your Game with Gameday Men's Health. The whole thing with supplements, it's like not knowing where they're coming from. I'm glad you mentioned that. And the consistent blood testing, where you need to get those levels and you need to make them consistent. So this is an excellent way. You're using science the right way. And when you talk about the peptides, yes, in the future, we are going to have many, many, many changes. The last 25 years, we've seen so many tremendous changes, and this is just the beginning, everyone. That's why you need to listen. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about cost. So check it out. Justin Grinnell's here, Gameday Men's Health, Men No Shame in Your Game with Gameday Men's Health. This is the Tom Edge. Welcome back, everybody, to the 5th segment. You're picking this up. You probably got us on. There's several radio stations that carry this, but the podcast is the primary avenue. WKR listeners, get ready because you're going to find out more about Gameday Men's Health with Justin Grinnell. Now, Justin, there's one thing that we have not. We've been talking about the services. We've been talking about, the HGH and the testosterone, the process, the steroids, all of these kind of things, the blood testing, the 6 things you do, the PSA, all of these things, mitigating heart disease. Great. There's the one big thing out there that men we really don't like talking about, and it is erectile dysfunction. And we need to talk about this because this is a big part of obviously men and women's health and your success as couples and your life and everything. So let's talk just quickly before we get into the cost of the clinic for the patients. But let's talk about the stats behind erectile dysfunction so men don't feel like they're so alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who wants to talk about that, right? And sometimes it's out of your control. Yes, being overweight and out of shape can cause erectile dysfunction, poor blood flow, etc. But after I learned a lot more about it, there's many other factors. It could be injury. It could just be simply that, some type of nerve endings aren't working. It could be an injury. I heard a lot of injury stuff. If you've gotten hit, and you lose those nerves, or something called Peyronie's disease, where it's just let's just kind of get down to the nitty gritty. Your penis wears out and it changes shape and it builds up plaque. It's just, if you're 60 years old, you've been through a lot, right? It's like any other body part. So we try to make sure we make it as comfortable as possible. Cialis, Viagra, things like that. We're going to use those therapies, but something called Gainswave. Now, Gainswave, basically, you're taking electrodes and you're stimulating the nerves. It takes multiple treatments. There's some great success with it. Now, the big combo with that is, and this sounds real funny, and trust me, when I start talking to people about this business, you gotta get real comfortable talking about a penis pump. By doing Gainswave, a penis pump, and then also, the Cialis, of Viagra. We had a guy come in the other day, and he said, it's really sad. He's driving all the way from Detroit because he's so embarrassed, and he hasn't had, an erection in 3 years.
Wow.
He's like, I'll do anything. I have no idea. My doctor can't tell me what's wrong. No pill works. I mean, these stories come out of Game Day all the time. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of therapies to do it, but you're getting, what we hear from the franchisees is you're seeing, husbands and wives crying in the office, can't believe it. How is this happening? It's more than just taking the pill. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot with the tissue. It's going to be a lot with the nerves, and that's where we attack a lot of it.
Well, you want to be healthy with this, everybody, because you can get you could get the drugs online. They're pretty readily available now. You just fill out some online forms, and you can buy stuff all over the place. The problem is who's helping you administer, who's maintaining, who's checking your blood work, and that's the whole key with the game day philosophy that I've been reading on this thing, and it's like, okay, here are here are just some points off of the website, everybody, HGH peptides. But this is all of the things that Game Day Men's Health and Justin is talking about: improved libido and performance, increased muscle mass, weight loss, improved mood, healthier looking skin, maintain bone density. All of these things work hand in glove together. We've got to work on all of the chemistry that's going on there, and that's the thing about getting the blood work done. Okay, Justin, we've covered a lot of this, and I'd love to hear more about we talked about the in-house lab. We talked about you guys are like a concierge medical service. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
You're very unique. Sweetness. What's the cost? I mean, first off, let's talk about the cost to the patient, and then if you want to talk about the cost for a franchise, perhaps. I think that this model is phenomenal, and I think that with these again boutique services, like in the gym, are the wave of the future. No question about it. But you got to have the money to be able to pay for these things. How do you fund these?
Yeah, so if you're patient, and it's going to be in some of the out of cost pocket, right? We could take some HSA and HMA stuff, but no insurance. And when you kind of look at, okay, can I get this prescribed by a doctor? For most of the things that we carry, we're going to be competitive right there, because that's exactly why we have the medical clinic, is so you can kind of skip this in the insurance that's going to block it down. Maybe the doctor's not willing to do it. So let's give you an example of a cost here. So your average TRT patient is going to spend about $200 to $250 a month. Okay. And what are they going to get with that? Well, we try to make it as simple as possible. If they want to do their weekly or biweekly injection with us, come to the clinic, we'll do it for you, because obviously it's tough to kind of stick you with a a needle or stick yourself. You're not used to it. So we'll do it for you. Okay. Also, we get the blood work done. That comes with that. So we're not giving you an extra cost for our basic panels. Sometimes we get some advanced panels. We sometimes have to charge for that, but really most TRT patients won't get any more cost to them. Whereas opposed to if we had, the panel that we do, Tom, that's an advanced panel after someone goes on TRT, it's probably going to cost a patient $85 to $100 for that panel. That's in your membership. So you're paying that $199, you get the service, you get the injection, you get obviously the medication, and you get the blood work. So when you really look at the total cost, let's call it $2,500 for the year, you're getting all of that, not to mention all the coaching and counseling you're getting. Okay, so with that, you're getting so much. So you may look at it and say, wow, I don't know if I can afford that. Well, can you, like you just said earlier, man, spend money on health. How can you not afford it? But that's the big differentiator with us, with the people online, or even with your primary care. You're just getting better care, and you're not getting nickel
Getting
and
better
dimed all
products.
the time for
Excuse me,
things.
Justin, but you're getting better products. This is the
Yes,
thing. It's the products, everybody. It's the quality of the supplements. This is the issue. When Sandy and I buy our supplements, and we buy a lot of supplements, I buy exactly the same brand all the time because I've been using them for so long. We use a lot of on target living stuff. We use just a variety of different things, and we stick with the program. This sounds totally doable to me because it's like for 2,500 bucks a year to have your health back and the energy and everything else that you're going to, and your libido, plus all of the, like you're saying, with the extra counseling with the nutrition, having a physician's assistant who is a dietitian nutritionist, ding, ding, man. And I'm sure there's going to be some, with your expertise in the fitness industry, there's got to be a component coming where you could help people, like give them some tips on the gym once they start feeling like, hey, I want to get back into it because I'm feeling good. I want to go. And you could give them that help, correct?
absolutely. So that'll be another layer we'll add. We will have actual personal training there. But thankfully our PAs and RD, the cool thing is, between, let's just, because we both know mutually, Chris and Marjorie, our RD, we're all kind of in that same wavelength, the nutrition, kind of saying the same stuff, right? And so that was really awesome for me because I didn't want to have someone that was totally in kind of a different mindset of nutrition. So she's got that buttoned up pretty well. We'll also use some supplementation as well when needed. So we'll have that as well. But we will counsel them on fitness, and we'll make that a big component and make sure they have us to access, as far as what should I be doing for my fitness. And I actually have a couple former interns up in Traverse City who have a personal training gym. And so I don't have a training gym up there. So we have a couple of gyms we'll refer people to, and we kind of have a cross promotion kind of as far as a little bit of a discount type of thing. So that's going to be, another thing that we can add on to as well. And that's the big thing with Gameday. They really push you to do that. Like, look, partner with people in the community that can help each other and also help your patients. And so that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, to be all inclusive is going to be really hard, and now you're getting out of your wheelhouse. And so
Yeah.
another thing I want to ask you before we run out of time here, Justin, because Game Day Men's Health, I just read online that they have over 100 franchises now, and their goal is to get over 200. To me, and I'm looking at the national map, I'm thinking, okay, if I was to get on a program, could this program transfer to other locations? Say you're on vacation and you're due for a shot or you're due for a meeting. Is that part of the program?
Okay, so yeah, so there's a couple stats here. So I'll tell you the new stats. I believe there's 251 open. Last time I think we checked, there's over 700 territories sold in North America.
Wow.
So it's the fastest growing franchise, not just health franchise, but franchise in general since Orange Theory. Orange Theory had that big bump in 2015, 16, 17. It's the second fastest right to Orange Theory. So it's growing rapidly. So there'll be a lot of locations. Now, can you transfer things? Well, it's kind of up to the individual owners. Like if I have someone if someone's going to move, yeah, you hook them up right away. Say, hey, transfer this membership. You're going to be in, New Mexico. You go there. If someone's on vacation, you can do some of those things, but you won't. You're not looking for a return of revenue. But the neat thing is we ship your medication right to your home, and we also will give you a letter from the physician that if you're traveling and then say you have, because it's still a class 2 drug, you know, especially if it's the testosterone, a couple other ones that are class 2 drugs, you'll have kind of a permission slip, if you will, from the doctor if you get, you know, searched or whatever, if you're flying, to make sure it's okay. So we've kind of got that whole synergy going.
That's awesome. See, this is the thing about the franchise, everybody. When you have Evan Miller's done a good job with figuring it all out. And when you get a solid franchise, and now with the growth that they've got projected, something is going right. And that's why you want to get with Justin. Justin, I need a 30-second takeaway, and then we'll get you back soon to talk more about this. It's a very fascinating topic, and we're running out of time here. But give me a 30-second quick takeaway, please.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that game day is going to be kind of a bridge between, okay, yes, you need a primary care, and yes, you need to do all the lifestyle stuff, but it's help. It's help from a medical standpoint. And I think that's what we're missing in healthcare, is kind of get more attention. You know, it's a fun environment. You walk in, it looks like, you know, we got sports center and sports on, and it's comfortable, snacks, and it's kind of like people walk in, they say, what is this place? So find us. Make sure you guys think about investing in your health.
We'll have everything in the recap, everybody. We will put everything in the recap so you can find everything easily. Always remember, before you can share love with others, you must love yourself first. Thanks again to Justin, Grinnell, Sandy, Craig, Brock. We'll talk to everybody next weekend. Have a great week, everybody. Go out and ignite your life. Use Gameday Men's Health. Go ignite your life with Gameday Men's Health. Mitch Anderson and Vanessa, our production staff, thank you so much. Tom Matt Shows, production of Boomers Rock Media. We want to bring your story to life. Thank you all for listening. We are out. This is one of the greatest things I think I've come across. When I heard Justin was going to be doing this, I was like, I am so down with this. I want to get so involved with this stuff, because there are so many guys out there that are having erectile dysfunction and problems out there. It's so fucking sad. I'm sorry to swear, but it's just so fucking sad. And it can be helped. There are things that can help you. Effective. That's why you listen to this radio show, watch these videos. Thank you, everybody. We'll be in touch. I am Papa Tom, and you know, this is the Tom Matt Show. And thank you so much for joining us, listening, and doing all those things. Again, 231-210-2700 is the number to the Gameday Men's Health in Traverse City. Justin Grinnell is a great, great guy. I've known him forever, and he's just doing amazing things. So until next time, peace out, everybody. Love y'all.